Hey guys, this is Cenarius normal with virtual insanity on Azerlon. This is a kill video, which is the main reason why I chose it. So let me just explain the whole entire fight as fast as I can before they actually start. So Cenarius and Malfurion are in this fight. Cenarius is the evil, Malfurion's helping you. Cenarius gives you one debuff, it's called Creeping Nightmares. It stacks infinitely, and it's a debuff that does minor dot damage. Once you get higher stacks, it can be cleansed by Cleansed Ground, which Malfurion casts every 80 seconds, along with Cenarius' Forces of Nightmare, which spawns the ads in this encounter. The ads I'll try to explain separately, but for now, that's really what you need to know about the fight. So I'll pause for a second. This is Creeping Nightmares. You can see he has 2 stacks right now. That is Cleansed Ground, that green patch of beautifulness right there. So the way to cleanse it is to run in and run out very quickly, because this patch of cleansed ground shrinks based on how many and how long people are inside it. So just make sure that once you get to around 15 to 20 stacks, you hop in there and then hop out, unless you have a cooldown and you want to waste it on soaking a little bit higher if the puddle is too small. So that's the main thing. Cenarius, it's really hard to explain all this, but Cenarius also, when he's casting Cleanse Ground, he also mind controls one of the ads that is getting summoned by Cenarius. So in this case, you can see the 2 ads. This is a dragon and this is an ancient. There's also a 3rd ad that got mind controlled, which was the wisps. The wisps, when they're helping you, basically just spawn small patches of cleansed ground. You can see one way back over in the corner there. You can use those to cleanse your debuff as well. It's just an added safety mechanic so that you can cleanse your debuff more efficiently. And the wisps are really, really hard to deal with, so it's better to mind control them than any other ad. So the Drake and the Ancient. The Ancient basically only has one mechanic. He also has to be tanked as well as the Drake, so there will be one tank, just ad tanking the whole time. The Drake has a breath. He breathes in a random direction. Just make sure to get out of that. He doesn't have a tail swipe. And the Ancient basically smashes down and does damage to everyone in melee range. So as many people in melee range helps that damage out. The Drake also, when he hits 50% health, radiates AoE damage. You could sort of see it there. And he needs to be killed as quickly as possible, or else he'll overwhelm the healers. The ad phases come every 80 seconds, and the way that you actually choose which ad you mind control is by standing or stacking people where the ad is going to spawn. So in this case, they're always stacking in the wisp corner. They'll eventually switch on the 3rd ad wave, but for right now, they're just mind controlling wisps every time, which is actually what we'll do as well. So you can see that's an ancient actually that's spawning right there. And I believe they're going to have a Twisted Sister, which I'll try to explain. So here's Cleansed Ground. It's the same mechanic. You just hop in. You'll see him. He hopped in for a second there. So this is Drake and Twisted Sister. Twisted Sister only has one mechanic. It's a heal. Just has to be interrupted. It's about a 5-second cast, so it's really easy to interrupt. But it does need to be interrupted. Once the heal goes off, it can be purged, but hopefully we won't have that happen. There's the breath from the Drake again, and Drake's about to hit 50%, and you'll see him radiate. Twisted Sister actually does have another mechanic. I just forgot about it. You can see it here. It's these debuffs, very similar to any mechanic you've ever seen before, where you have a circle around you. It's a warning mechanic. You just have to get out, or else it will spread to the entire raid, and the entire raid will explode when that goes off. So they're going to kill Twisted Sisters. And the only other mechanic I haven't explained from Cenarius himself is those roots that you just saw. It's basically going to choose a random player, and they're going to have to run in a line, and they'll drop roots behind him. It's very easy to deal with. If you get rooted, you can pop, or get cleansed. So here is the other thing. Okay, so right here, they're going to mind control a Twisted Sister. Twisted Sister gives a buff that increases movement speed by 75% to random people and causes them to be immune to the actual roots, so you can clear those roots up if they're overwhelming you. The reason they actually mind control one is because they have doubles, so they have this and an ancient, I believe. Okay, here's one thing that will never happen when we're doing this. So Cenarius has a debuff that basically any ad that's within 30 yards of him causes you to reflect damage onto yourself when you attack them. I believe it's 50% damage. So just make sure that we're not tanking them too close to the boss. So the only other, before we get to the second phase, which is at 30%, the only other ads that we did not see was the wisps when they were evil. All the wisps do is target you and follow you and then explode when they get to you. And then they target a new target. So basically the way to deal with them is to CC them and blow them up. There's 10 of them, so mass grip is really good for this. You can mass grip, stun lock, and just AoE down. DPS priority, we will get more than 3 sets of ads. We'll probably be in the 6 to 7 range. So we will see wisps eventually because there's a double set on wave 4. And basically we'll mass grip, stun, blow them up. The DPS priority is wisps, twisted sisters, dragons, and then ancients. We're going to see the second phase here though, and basically it's just a tank and spank. There's movement involved, and there is one thing that you have to kill. So you see he just cast Entangling Nightmares. It entangles Cenarius. Basically you want to kill that as fast as possible, or else you won't get any cleansed ground, which will cause the debuff to stack too high and you'll eventually die. Here's the roots you can see on someone right now. Basically it's a burn though. You pop Lust and you go ham. The only mechanic he has for tanks specifically is Spear of Nightmares. Basically it's a tank swap mechanic. You swap it 1 stack, and what it does is it does a ton of physical damage, and the more you mitigate it, the better it is, because when he does Spear of Nightmares, he also spawns a puddle based on the damage you take. So you can see it right here. He spawns all this red blood. That's the puddle that's caused from Spear of Nightmares. So it's very good to ask for cooldowns here, because the less room that we can take up, the more time that we have to DPS the boss. And that's the only mechanic though that's added in this phase, besides the route to Malfurion, which you have to kill. Melee is going to have a hard time killing it, because most of the time when Malfurion gets rooted, he's rooted inside a puddle. So, and otherwise just make sure to keep track of your debuff. You can see this guy's retarded and has 35 stacks. Just make sure to cleanse that at around 20. And that is Cenarius. Very easy fight, honestly. I'm not sure that it'll be an issue. I thought it would be an issue because of the waves being random, but now I know that I'll just read off the 6 waves to you. So the first wave is Wisp, Drake, Treant. We will be cleansing or mind controlling a Wisp. The second is Wisp, Drake's sister. We'll be mind controlling the Wisp again. The third is Treant, sister, which will be controlling a sister. The fourth is Wisp, Drake. In that case, we will mind control Drake. The Drake, when he's mind controlled, gives a tank a debuff or a buff that increases healing by 50% and causes you not to be able to die, exactly like a Guardian Spirit. So nothing new there. Treant Sister is the next wave. It's on the 5th wave, and what it does is when it's cleansed, it gives a large amount of mana if you stack within the Treant. So it gives a mana buff that increases mana. I think it's 4% per second, 4% of total mana. So it's easy to just top your healers off so they can get ready for the next phase. And then the last wave that's actually been seen is Wisp sister, which in this case we would obviously mind control a Wisp and kill the other set of Wisps. So very easy, nothing new, just a bunch of ads that we have to deal with. So that is Cenarius. On to the next video.